seen it.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt. On the radio, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on talklawradio.com. Also podcasts everywhere. And with me today is Shannon Salmon-Haas.
Hi.
Also known as at Shannon Roberta SA on Instagram.
Thanks.
Welcome to the show.
Appreciate it.
And you're also recording. This is live on Instagram, right?
It's live, yeah.
Cool.
Madison says good luck. Yeah.
Good luck. Break a leg. That's what Al says.
Yeah, break a leg.
We're going to be talking about San Antonio Project Marvel.
Yeah.
And you've become interested in that subject.
Yeah, I'm really interested. Are you?
I'm interested.
I guess we're talking about it.
Well, I first started talking about it during the mayor race.
Yeah.
Because everybody wanted to know what the candidate's position on Project Marvel was.
Wow, you got a really cool perspective on that. Yeah. That was really cool, that series you did. But, you know, another level of that I hadn't realized, you got everybody's take on Project Marvel.
Well, everybody that joined me.
But most everybody did.
I got a lot of them, not all 27.
You talked to Gina Ortiz. I saw that one.
I got the top two. I also got Pablos, who didn't quite win.
There were a lot of really good candidates.
There were.
You know, like that was close.
What I liked about the candidates is that they were all really passionate about San Antonio, the city, and the people in our community.
Yeah.
So maybe you should run for mayor someday.
If I had known there'd been that many people, I would have. I would have, really. I didn't know it was that open. There were almost 30 candidates.
Right. So one thing that came out of our discussions is that most of the mayoral candidates felt like that Project Marvel had been a secret.
Really?
That the city council and the other stakeholders were talking about it without input from regular community people that live here.
Yeah. So that's the general vibe of...
Well, I think that's why they've started these community meetings.
Okay.
That you attended one last week, right?
Right, yeah.
So I want to ask you some questions about that.
Okay, I'll do my best. I took notes in the meeting.
Oh, good. So first of all, there might be people out there that have no idea what we're talking about.
Okay, yeah, good point. You're so smart. Yeah.
They might think it's Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah.
It's, do you know why the city came up with this name, Project Marvel, to describe renovation of downtown so that the Spurs could have another stadium?
The meeting information session that I went to was with the assistant city manager. Is her name Lori Houston? I think it's Lori Houston. I'll have to look it up. And she said that is just a word that they used in general, talking about it amongst, it wasn't ever meant to go public. And it is the comics. That's why they called it that, because of like Marvel, like DC Marvel.
Oh.
Isn't that interesting?
Well, I think it's interesting that you said that it was never meant to be public.
And it just kind of like Obamacare became Obamacare when he had another name for it. He didn't call it Obamacare.
Right.
But just the people that had, conversations about this just were saying Marvel a lot. And it was never meant to be called.
Because it's going to be marvelous.
Is that? You're a neat guy. You're a cool guy.
Sometimes I'm clever.
Yes, you're often clever. We're supposed to call it Sports Entertainment District is actually the name they're trying to pivot to.
Okay.
And I feel rather clever for noticing that is SED, Sports Entertainment District, or SED in Spanish.
What does that mean in Spanish?
Thirsty, like you're thirsty.
Oh, okay.
And the idea, or what they were, the general vibe is that what they want to do is have more of a walkable area Like it's a complex, it's a whole center. Right now, if you drive down there, you want to go see the game, you're not going to have a great experience getting there. You're going to be 45 minutes on the freeway. By the time you get there, you're already ticked off. The concession stand is going to have 2 little pieces of popcorn for you. You waited an hour to get it. So it's allegedly, supposedly, I mean, I'm not in charge of these things, but the information that they're putting out is that it's all about the experience for the person. That we can't keep, we have to compete with these larger cities. We have to compete with like Austin. And so you can't force people to park a mile away, you know, have this long hike. So the walk itself is supposed to be very, very pleasant. This is the plan that they're... And you can even stop along the way. If you don't have tickets, there's a lot of food trucks and there's nice little venues with shade and cooling elements. So you can go be part of the community without having to buy expensive tickets. So that was the part that appealed to me, was that, because, you know, I'm a little bit change averse, you know.
Right.
But the part that really did sound good was community. You don't have to be rich to go pay for the valet to have a good experience or get boxes. It's more all-inclusive.
Okay. So I'm talking with Shannon Salmon-Haas, a community leader here in San Antonio.
Goodness.
About Project Marvel, which is the sports entertainment district.
Or said that we're supposed to go to.
Yeah.
Sports Entertainment District, yeah.
On Talk Law Radio, I want to remind you that we're here to help you discover your legal issue blind spots by listening to me talk about the law on the radio. And there are some laws that are involved in this, and I think they're mostly related to how are we going to pay for this new stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, she had stuff to say about that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that I've read that it's all related to taxes that visitors are going to pay at the hotel and car rentals and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what she said too. That allegedly there's like, it's not going to come out of our taxes, like residential taxes. So it's all going to be the hotel occupancy tax and things like that.
So I started thinking about, well, the visitors are going to have to pay that, and they're going to be comparing the cost of coming to a convention in San Antonio to a convention in Dallas or a convention in Houston, and I wonder how our hotel taxes compare with their hotel taxes. Because if people stop coming here because it's too expensive for them to get a hotel room and a rental car because our taxes are higher than everyone in the country, then our tourism is going to go down.
Yeah.
And then people are going to be upset about that.
And then it's bad for everybody.
You know what would get me excited about the new stadium is the parking. And if they made it easy to get there. Here's an example of a stadium that's easy to get to. Denver, the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah.
My dad goes to the train station and parks his car. He takes the train directly to the stadium.
Oh, wow.
And so he doesn't have to park, doesn't have to fight with traffic. That would be my ideal scene.
Yeah. Something's holding up high-speed rail here. I don't see it coming. I mean, I'm not.
I guess it's the cost. Again, who would pay for it? How would we finance that?
Yeah, but a train, you know, like to Austin, for example, high-speed rail.
Yeah, I think that there should be, you know, between us and Austin and Dallas and Houston.
We're getting so big. I guess that's coming.
I hope so, because I never want to drive to Houston again.
Yes. Oh, you want to talk about that?
There's construction almost the whole way.
Yeah.
It's frustrating and it's slow.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll just take an airplane and go over the traffic.
Yeah, that has its own concerns.
But let's get back to Project Marvel. I have some questions for you.
Oh, gosh.
We're talking about Project Marvel in San Antonio on Talk Law Radio. This is at Shannon Roberta S.A. Search for her on Instagram. and you can feel a hashtag positivity. I went to your Instagram this morning, and you had different
I'm
encouraging...
happily married, very happily married, but I see why Chris fell in love with you. You are,
It's my Spanish. you have new hashtags there about wearing a crown. Because we're the kings and queens of...
I had a friend that was down, and I was really kind of pleased with myself that I came up with a clever... I told him, you're the king of Awesomeville, or like I just made some stupid thing up, and I said, that's pretty good. I'm going to put that as my bio.
Yeah,
so I have a new
cool.
silly thing.
What was the overall mood or sentiment of the attendees at the meeting that you went to last week?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to say that for some reason, I just want your audience to know that I did not belong in that room. I had to do some deep breaths to calm myself down. It was everyone that you would consider important. I mean, we're Christians, so God says everybody is important. Every human is important. But, these were I was really shocked to be in that room and look around and see wow, these are such, it was all the media professionals and just all the CEOs of any organization you can think of. So I was a little overwhelmed. I was like, oh, okay, just calm down. But the general mood was, she was kind of asking that group to get on board, first of all, with the name pivot. So they want to move away from Project Marvel. And yeah, it did feel like they want to bring in the community. And so that was a really good feeling. Maybe there was something, I kind of had my ear on the ground as well before, and there is a sentiment in the general public that, what the heck is this? This is being shoved down our throats.
Right.
Nobody asked us. It's halfway done, and they're tearing buildings down already, and we didn't even vote on anything yet. So there are those community sessions that are set up for all the stakeholders, and maybe you can put them in your show notes so anyone can go. It's divided up by district, and there's a open, welcoming vibe. This is good for San Antonio. Here's why. And one of my big concerns is I don't want to see, because this feels big, so I don't want to see the little guy shoved out, because our history is kind of on the Riverwalk, for example, we had these vendors that had been there. Their grandmother had been there. Their grandmother's mother had been there selling, their wares and things, and so Rainforest Cafe comes in and Starbucks comes in, and yeah, we have a beautiful Riverwalk now, but at what cost? I pray that they don't forget that what makes people want to come here is our authenticity. So we don't want to be steel and concrete like Dallas or Houston.
Right, or just chains.
Yeah, exactly. And I was optimistic. Based on just her being there and sharing all this information with us, the community, I felt expressed the vibe, which is, we're not trying to just railroad y'all. This is for everybody. This is good for San Antonio. Here's why.
Maybe you could have a Abuela soup restaurant.
I would love that. Abuela soup. A little stove. A little gas stove. And one of those lines on the Soup Nazi on Seinfeld.
Yeah. But then you could tell everybody how special they are as they come through the soup line.
Mark, can you imagine?
Instead of being angry and rude,
yes,
like that soup guy on Seinfeld.
Yeah, the opposite of that. Oh, wow, I love it. Yes, let's do that.
There you go. Okay, I got another question for you. I'm
not going to do all the talking, am I?
Well, you're the one that went.
Show.
Did city or county officials present any new details about the project's funding, such as the venue tax or Spur's financial contribution?
She had thrown out some percentages, and I should have taken better notes, but I'm sure the numbers are available online. I was not aware that she said it is absolute that the Spurs will be contributing something, and it's sizable. So that sounded to me like immovable. Mm-hmm. They're not willing to negotiate that out. And they seemed very firmly committed that nothing will be residential tax. There's also private donors that are just philanthropic and donating. So I don't know what they would get out of that or why someone would want to do that, but that nothing will come out of our residential taxes.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. Everybody that I interviewed, the mayor candidates they said that they didn't want to pay higher taxes for that.
Right. And that there's also a zone. Do you know anything about the zone?
Well, I know they created some special district
Yeah.
for development, raising money for development.
Yeah. I should have written down the numbers, but, that's something that's available online.
So developers will be investing, with an expectation of a financial return.
Yeah, correct. I was also happily surprised that she said there were no tax abatements, 0 for any developers. So they're, boosting our economy.
Okay, we'll see.
We'll see. The whole thing is a we'll see.
Did they say anything about how long the construction of everything would take?
That's a great question. She did not say in any way how long it's estimated to take. And one thing that was interesting, though, was that this is actually not new, according to her. This is part of a plan that was formulated many, many years ago. So it was 3 tiers, and we're in like tier 2 right now. And they always meant to unroll this 3rd tier, and they just had not done it yet. So this is actually not something they created right now yesterday. This is part of a bigger plan that had a 3-phase development. Another thing that made me happy was I guess Austin is losing billions right now because they had to completely shut down. We don't have to shut down. Like everything will still keep functioning. They're going to build around what's there. Does that make sense?
I hope so.
So we're not supposed to be losing any money.
Okay. And the Spurs will continue to play at the Frostbank Center.
Right. And then, the big names can still come. She was talking about Shakira. She was talking about all the concerts that have been here that have sold out.
I just read this morning that she wasn't going to come.
Really? Why?
I didn't read the reason why.
Oh, my goodness.
That she was going to postpone that.
Oh, I wonder why. Hey, if y'all know why Shakira's not coming, let me know.
Okay, well.
But the point of that is, we can get big acts like that if they can fill up more seats. So all these people have been sold out lately. There's a cap.
So we need more seats.
That's their point.
People want to sit even further away from the stage.
Well, that's their point, is that we have to be competitive.
I don't like to sit that far away when I go to an athletic event. So we either sit close or we stay home and watch it on TV.
Yeah, good plan.
There was an event that I went to a year or 2 ago where there was continuing education at the Spurs arena.
Wow.
And it came with a ticket to watch the game and snacks and drinks.
Oh, how fun.
It was very expensive.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that does sound expensive. Did you learn stuff? Good stuff?
Yeah, the general counsel for the Spurs talked about entertainment law.
Interesting. Wow. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and I brought my couple of my kids.
Yeah.
My wife. It was fun.
Yeah.
But it was expensive, so I haven't done it again.
Yeah. That's a good experience, though. Glad you did that.
The new mayor, Gina Ortiz-Jones, or her representatives attend?
Just Lori Houston. Lori Houston,
okay.
the assistant city manager. Lovely woman, very personable.
Did she talk about a timeline?
No, she did not. And there was something, and you're such a lawyer. Like, you don't just notice what people say, you notice what they don't say. Mm-hmm. So no, I don't recall anything about a timeline. And I should have asked, they didn't take a lot of questions. She talked for a while, so they didn't have a lot of times for questions.
How many people were there?
About 50. And another thing that was missing, no talk of football, which was interesting to me because I kind of thought people wanted football.
Well, we have a surplus of stadiums if this one gets built, so they could still play at the Alamo Dome.
Uh-huh. Don't you kind of feel like this is all kind of about football? Like, it's got to be in the mix somewhere.
I don't know. I feel like we have so many stadiums that we're not going to know what to do with them. They want to build a new baseball stadium, don't they?
I think so, yeah.
For the Missions, and then we're still going to have the old one.
Yeah.
Who's going to play there?
Well, they're going to repurpose it. I think it's going to be repurposed.
Okay, well, those are questions that we need to ask.
Yeah, let's go to the next meeting.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to meet all those CEOs, those companies, because they might want to advertise on Talk Law Radio.
Yeah, I wish you'd been there. It was really, really good.
Cool. And did you have to have an invitation?
Kind of. There's an organization called PRSA, Public Relations something. I'm sorry, I forget what it is. And so you have to be a member, and then you get to go.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool for you. You're mean something around here.
No.
Kind of a big deal.
False. Definitely not, but thank you. I'm your friend, so you think I am.
Was there a mention of the November 2025 voter referendum for the venue tax or bond?
Yeah, they focused on that. So I think they're trying to get people on board.
It's something that you and I have to vote for.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, okay. Was there anything controversial?
The whole thing is
That
controversial.
made people gasp when she said it?
No, I wouldn't say gasp, but the entire thing is inherently controversial because there are existing things there right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have, all the businesses down there are suffering because of construction. There's no business in the world, well, except a construction business that says, yay, construction,
Yeah, right.
So.
Well, I had a show all about the Texas Pavilion that's being torn down.
Yeah.
And how that was
I saw that guy. He was so interesting.
A landmark, and we're losing some of our authenticity by losing that building.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that show. I can't remember his name, but he was a very interesting fellow. We would have gotten along well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was easy to talk to. Just reminding you, this is Talk Law Radio on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Also on Facebook Live, YouTube, podcasts everywhere, and talklawradio.com. If you have a situation going on in your life where you feel frustrated by statutes, regulations, or court cases, let me know about it by emailing me at host@talklawradio.com or by going to talklawradio.com and clicking the button that says you want to be a guest or you want to sponsor the show. I have Shannon Salmon-Haas, immigration lawyer and community organizer, here with me today talking about Project Marvel, which we're supposed to change to Sports and Entertainment District because the city leaders are trying to make it sound better, I guess. Right?
There's probably a nicer way to say that, but yeah. Rebranding. And so what it is the Spurs want a new stadium. And so the city leaders say that if they tear down a bunch of buildings downtown, we could make room for it. And then we can have a new arena for basketball, a new stadium for baseball, and then you said they forgot about football. I'm just surprised nobody talked about it at that meeting that was all about that area.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what your viewers think about the Spurs, if they'd be willing to let them go or not. You know what I mean?
Well, I did have some call-ins when we talked about that one time.
Mm-hmm.
And I also read some of the comments off of X, formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah.
Just to find out what the vibe was. And
see, that's what's going to happen to Project Marvel. We're all going to say Sports Entertainment District, formerly known as Marvel. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, the people that love the Spurs just want to do anything that's necessary to keep them here in San Antonio.
Right. But that's a bad position to be in as far as negotiations,
Right. And the people that don't care so much, all they care about is taxes, roads, water infrastructure, and say that that's what the city leaders should focus on.
Yeah.
But I think that we have to close out the show. This is all about Project Marvel. the Sports and Entertainment District project in San Antonio. You heard about it here from Shannon Salmon-Haas.
And Lexi, the law dog.
Lexi is here.
She helped. She spread her good vibes.
You can find Shannon on Instagram at Shannon Roberta SA. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
This was fun.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Each week, attorney Todd Marquardt talks about the law. His mission with the Talk Law Radio show and podcast is to help you discover your legal issue blind spots. In the beginning, God had one law. Don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then came the 10 Commandments. Now we have federal, state, and municipal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws. Laws that might impact you without you knowing it. Listen to the show and drop a line on Facebook or email host@talklawradio.com and let the host know what you think of the show, the topics you want to hear, and whether you want to be a guest.